So Matthew's got another question here. During OSD, I'm getting the blue screen. Why did my PC restart? And he's thinking that it's most likely the domain join step. Where can I check to troubleshoot this? Couple of suggestions that Jeff I see popped here in the chat. Always start with smsts.log. Just depends on where you're at in the sequence process to where you're actually going to find that.
Yeah, and also in like, I would say 11 times out of 10, but at least in 99 times out of 100, if you get a blue screen device or on a device, it's either a hardware issue, but more commonly a driver issue. And when they happen in Windows, it's not too bad because it's easy to configure Windows to collect a good crash dump, so you can upload that to or analyze that in WinDBG. It's more challenging when it happens in the WinPE phase, and that's where most OSD drivers issues are kicking in initially. But it is possible to configure WinPE to actually collect crash dumps also. But there's always one idiot out there. So if you punch in the right RTC keys offline in your boot image, you can actually have WinPE saving that. And of course, then you have to upload that to a file share somewhere and analyze it with WinDBG. So, and if you want to play around with this, there is a beautiful utility from sysinternals. It's called Not My Fault. You can download, or you can run that, and you can tell it how do you want the machine to crash. What error do you want to have at the moment? But yeah, get the crash dump either from full Windows if it happens in full Windows. Do it from WinPE if you happen to WinPE, and then analyze it using WinDBG, and it will show you which driver it didn't like. So that would be a good starting point.
All right.
I wonder if I have a crash dump saved somewhere.
I was just reading. Matthew had a couple of follow-ups here as well. It's after Windows deployment, so I can browse to it from another PC on the domain. Could be drivers, so he's setting up a VM to test.
Yeah, that's a good way because that pretty much eliminates drivers.
Yeah,
at least most of them. But I mean, if you have a memory dump from a device, I happen to have a couple here that I apparently saved at some point. I do not remember what these were for. But if you have WinDBG installed, you can also open a crash dump. Let's see what the folder was here. And you can do an analysis of that dump. And it will tell you whatever it was. I know what this one was. It was troubleshooting Pixie errors. That was a watchdog timer that kicked in before Microsoft fixed it in Hyper-V. But it could very well have been a driver also. In this case, it was the watchdog timer. So I wonder what the other one was. Close that one. Let me open this one here. No, that was source files. Nothing like a live demo.
It's true.
I wonder if this was a similar problem. I don't see any drivers in here either. Oh yeah, it was a driver. This was one of my tests. Not my fault utility. this is so easy to run and just open. Even if you haven't run a debugger in your life, it's easy to figure out what it failed on. And then there are pretty good guides out there on how to analyze blue screens. So start there. That's the fun stuff.
Well, something to do on a Friday or Saturday night, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a really good skill to acquire. It's just
I haven't used it myself, but Dan here in the comments over on YouTube mentioned that Blue Screen Viewer from NirSoft is also a really good tool. You don't need the WinDBG tools, and it's a portable application. So, all right,
even better. Don't have to install anything.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, NirSoft have some really nifty utilities. Isn't they have the IIS Crypto also? Or was that like other company?
Yeah, I don't remember. But I know, I mean, to your point, they have a whole bunch of different utilities.
I think I've used their they have an ESNT database viewer.
Ah.
I think I got that from NirSoft.
Yes. ESE database view?
Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot what the domain was. It's not nirsoft.com, it's something else.
NirSoft.net.
There we go.
Offline registry editor, offline registry viewer.
Yeah.
Some good stuff.
Yeah, that's the one. They also have a multicast testing tool I played around with at one point, but all right. Anyhow, cool stuff. They've been around for a long time also. No, I don't want to right now. Appreciate the offer, but no.
All right. So Zach says, I've had some crashes that WinDBG points right at a driver and some that give me no indication as to what to look at next. I want AI to do it for me.
Well, you never know. There will be an AI agent too. And I mean, there are agents popping up left and right now. I saw Ugo Cook just released a bunch of agents for Intune.
Cool. I see another familiar face and name in here. Jeremiah over on Twitter is joining us. He said IIS Crypto is by Nartech. So close. Started with an F.
Yeah, all right. It's a really good utility if you want to check your ciphers on devices and see what they have enabled or not enabled. It's good.
It's funny because when I first read NirSoft, I kept confusing it with NullSoft. They had the installer many years ago.
Yeah, so this little utility is downright amazing.
Yep.
And it's free. I use it all the time.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, it's registry keys that are involved in this, but it's nice to get GUI sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I did see a follow-up comment here. Might get Zach excited. MCP server for WinDBG crash analysis. So I found, if you want to flip over to my screen for a moment, Johan.
Yes, sir.
I think this is the GitHub repository that's being referenced. Basically allows you to connect WinDBG and an LLM to do crash dump analysis with AI. Pretty cool. It's just a Python wrapper, it looks like.
All right, then. That sounds promising.
Very cool. Yeah. Thanks for the shout out there, Meccan. That's didn't know that existed.
Me neither. But while you
So
have your screen open, it's not on topic per se, but if you pull up that link I just put in the private chat here, this is happening everywhere.
mhm.
Agents popping up, both commercial ones and free ones, allowing you to like interact with data in a very, very different way compared to before. And the interview I mentioned earlier of Jason, the Microsoft VP, they talk about the same thing in the few minutes I actually was able to view. What Microsoft is investing in terms of AI to offer optional or alternate ways of interacting with the systems management platforms. I mean, there are tens of thousands of AI apps now out there. It's just I see new ones popping up to the feed every single day. It will be interesting. I think even the Pope addressed that in a talk he did recently. I saw just a news flash like this is the biggest change in our lifetime in terms of how we get the information and stuff. AI is quite interesting.